cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
FF episode 2070. How are you? Mike Matthews here. So happy to be in Podcastro Valley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Sometimes I do this show from Podcastro Valley or Podcastro Valley 10, but today I'm here and I'm with you. And I'm your friend because I'm Mike Matthews and I'm friendly. I'm a kind of friendly guy. People have said that about me. If you don't like that, I'll punch you in the knee. You know what? I don't mean that exactly. I just want to say the show's called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike's Daily Podcasto. It's a robusto, and I hope you have a good day today.
Mike's
whenever you're listening to this.
Daily.
If you were listening on
Podcast
Tuesday, you would have heard it today.
Yeah.
That I am doing it. But whatever. The podcast picture today, I'm just going to get that out of the way, is from 8 years ago. I had a wonderful day with some friends. We went up to the top of, what is it called? Twin Peaks in San Francisco. It's an awesome picture. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. I post all my pictures there, and then I put them on Instagram. I've been doing this before Instagram existed. And when Instagram came around, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put my podcasts up all the time. My podcast pictures, rather. And then people see the podcast pictures, and I always put the logo for Mike's Daily Podcast in the picture. And people are like, what the heck? What's that? What is that? Well, I'm promoting the podcast, dang it. I'm not just going to upload stuff to social media that basically makes money off of me. I'm going to try to make a little, well, I don't make any money on this, so whatever. But I'm trying to get the publicity out there, is all I'm saying. Trying to get people to know about Mike's Daily Podcast. If you can help me out, just let a friend know. Tell them about the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. And then everything will be happy and they'll go, oh.
And here's today's podcast picture.
What a quirky show. Mike's Daily Podcast picture with the wonderful San Francisco view. It's a beautiful spot, Twin Peaks up there. And no, you don't have Kyle MacLachlan going, damn, that's a good, fine cup of coffee, or any of that. There is a cartoon that I saw recently that says it all. I would like to describe it to you. It's a guy on the phone going, I got to get out of here. These people are driving me crazy. And he's in an office, and there's a bunch of people running around. It's craziness. His boss is yelling at him. Sounds like this. That's Basil the Boxer's impression of a boss. Dang. That's what he... Good job, Basil. He does a... That's what the boss says. And then, that says underneath it pre-COVID. And now, during COVID, you have the guy say, this is actually 2 months into COVID, the guy... He's at home. Behind him, his kids are screaming. His wife's screaming at him. And he says, get me out of here. These people are driving me crazy. So you see, he said the exact same thing in both places. He's never happy. The grass is always greener on the other side, folks. It's a natural biological tendency. Cows do it. Horses do it. Even sophisticated humans do it. Why don't we all do it and wish for the green grass on the other side, even though we're standing on green grass? I heard someone butcher Benedict Cumberbatch's name so badly yesterday. He said, Cummerbund Middlebatch. That's what he calls him. Cummerbund Middlebatch. I love that. Hello, I'm Cummerbund Middlebatch. There's so many ways to mess up that name. D.L. Hughley, another interesting name. D.L. Hughley has the coronavirus. I'm just saying this off of what I remember from the story. Let me see. I'm going to try and back my little thing up. Oh, by the way, today, on this date, did you know, all the way back in the land, what year was this? 72. Nixon President Nixon passed Title, is it Title 9? This is me not knowing things, not knowing my history. A federal civil rights law that was passed as part of the Education Amendment of 72. This public law, number 92-31886, Stat 235, it was co-authored and introduced by Senator Birch Bayh in the U.S. Senate and Patsy Mink of the Congress in the House. It was later renamed the Patsy T. Mink Equal Opportunity in Education Act, following Mink's death in 2002. It attempts to eradicate gender discrimination in the U.S. education system. While most will come to associate it with increased athletic opportunities for women, it will also be applied in various DOJ policies related to transgendered students, as well as lawsuits concerning sexual harassment and sexual violence in schools. That happened today, everybody. So if you were looking at that. What was this D.L. Hughley story then that I was finding out? That apparently he has the coronavirus. He collapsed on stage. I don't think it was because of the coronavirus. Let's see. D.L. Hughley. Now, I bring him up only because Lordy, I think the internet's down, folks, as I'm trying to, so I can't even access this anyway. Rats. Well, you can look up that story yourself because you have an internet connection and I obviously don't. Even though I did somehow at some point get internet again because, oh, here we go. So he apparently employed someone that I knew from high school, a nice guy named Derek. And I think Derek is either like a bodyguard or an assistant to him. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast, and we're in Podcastro Valley. And Derek and DL met while golfing in Camarillo, I believe is the story. And they started talking, and DL liked him and knew that Derek had something to do with the police, so he hired him to protect him, I think is what it was. And so what ended up happening was Derek posted a bunch of pictures on Instagram, like just about every day he was posting another picture with DL hanging out. I mean, you get to be on the radio with him, on TV, they get to do all this stuff together. So while performing at a comedy club in Nashville, this was last Friday, DL collapsed in the middle of his set. He's 57 years old. And I guess maybe you've seen the footage. It's gone viral. A representative for Hughley told Today that the collapse was due to exhaustion after all the weeks of work and travel. The comedian announced then on Saturday it was due to dehydration. And, oh, by the way, he had also been diagnosed with the coronavirus. It turns out they ran a battery of tests, and I also tested positive for COVID, which blew me away, he said. I was what they call asymptomatic. I didn't have any symptoms. The classic symptoms I didn't have. I didn't have flu-like symptoms. I didn't have shortness of breath. I didn't have difficulty breathing. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have low-grade fever. I still don't have a fever. I didn't have loss of smell or taste. So that's how it works, folks. Sometimes. That's what freaks everybody out about this disease. So, oh, by the way, Derek and DL, I heard also, because they were golfing, that they became friends that way, or that's how they became acquainted. Now, I don't know if that's exactly true, but it's fascinating to me how you will meet people. And, well, golf, they always say, leads to better, promotions. Golf leads to all kinds of opportunity, economic opportunity for folks. Whatever, I hate golfing. I think it also helped that I think Derek and DL are big into cigars. So, which is not a good thing if you've got coronavirus, that you're smoking the cigars and damaging your lungs. Don't stop that. Do stop that, I mean. But at any rate, that's the interesting story of D.L. Hughley. It looks like he's going to recover just fine, thank you. So that's good. Hey, I know this show's a little random. So Trump did a lot about explaining during his big rally well, that's up for debate, but the rally that he had in Tulsa, and apparently he had to clarify the whole momentum thing. When he was walking down those stairs at that event, was that at West Point, and that he like somehow tripped or something, and he ran really fast down the rest of the length, and he explained it was his shoes and they were new, and momentum, and that gave him momentum to shoot down out of the stairs. Listen, there's video of me up in Shasta. This happened in February. There was still snow on the ground, and I'm walking along. My lovely lady friend is filming me, and I don't have like the best shoes to walk on snow on. And I did this running thing to keep up with, because if you don't, then you're gonna fall. You're gonna fall right on your face if you don't keep up with the amount of speed that you're going. If you stop, then bam. And I'm 6'1", something like that. When I fall, it hurts. I mean, I guess it hurts for everyone who falls, but for taller people, it's just, ouch. So I have taught myself over the years to try and keep up with the legs, with the feet, so that they don't stop. Because when they do stop and you're moving and you hit the ground, ouch. That's all I wanted to say. Whether he was lying, and maybe if he has some other sort of physical affliction going on, he definitely covered it up at the Tulsa rally. But the question is, how many of those people that showed up at the rally are going to come down with coronavirus? Are they any asymptomatic like D.L. Hughley? Now, from what he said, he didn't collapse because of the coronavirus. He collapsed because of dehydration. But that's interesting. Interesting coincidence. But let's just say this right now is, at this point, Biden has not had as big a rally because he's trying to be, sensitive to the whole coronavirus thing. So he ain't going to get a bunch of people together like that. The general view seems to be he hasn't been doing enough to campaign. I keep forgetting it's an election year. That's crazy. 4 years ago, you didn't, there was nothing but, it's all you heard was about Hillary and Bernie and emails and Comey and ugh. And then, WikiLeaks and Assange releasing all that information. Okay. This year, not so much because of obvious reasons, but it appears this way as well. And tell me what you think about this. You can call me 336MM daily. 3 + 3 = 6 MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been now for quite a while. Yay for me. But here, I'm keeping up with the title. Sometimes I get interrupted, but sometimes I keep my word with the name of the title, Mike's Daily Podcast. And interesting thing is, the incumbents this time around will have it much easier, because if you're challenging someone and you can't go out there and campaign and rally and do all of that, how are you going to win? That's the question. That really befuddles. I wouldn't want to run against someone right now. Here's one other justification. Did Trump do this justification for getting all the people together at that rally in Tulsa? He said something to the effect of, hey, we got all these people here today, and there are people that are going to complain that these people are too close to each other, but look at the protesters. All the scenes that you've seen of protesters, they're all standing too close to each other. There's no social distancing there, so why not? Meanwhile, Fauci is putting his face deep into his hands, going, why? Or his face mask deep into his hands. Face masks. I think we got to get more creative with our face masks. We're all pretty much just blah. I know some people do the cool patterns, but I'm thinking about getting the face mask with the big old weird Joker smile on it. Because you need to smile, folks, in this strange world that we live in. It's very interesting, isn't it? Look who's here. Outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega, and I've enjoyed today's show. Oh, excellent. Do you mind not saying anything else? Yes. You want to say a whole bunch more? Yes. Okay, say something now. No. Dang it. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, this show sometimes reminds me of that Lake Wobegon show day.
Yeah, Wobegon. Do you know that? Somebody said to me, Mike, you're like a little like Garrison Keillor. And I said, except for the fact that the guy has been accused of sexual harassment, I thank you for that compliment. The guy could just talk off the top of his head and weave these interesting stories, no script. That was pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I think he was a little creepy too. At any rate, that's the end of the show. What do you think about any of it? You can call me 336-MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast will continue to try to be. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!